Shrine Tech sometime. All right. You go ahead, mate.
Yeah, well, hopefully we will see him. He's my boy. I get to introduce him. You introduce your one, Maynard, later. Up here in the top right-hand side, he's going to bring some of that Lao power to this match. Starting off an Oxalate in the blue, it's Jieshi.
In the bottom left, he's strong, he's bold, and he's hot. From Invictus Gaming, this is Coffee. I do agree with you with criticisms to Coffee, though, in all seriousness, where it feels like he's one of those coffee machines that has maybe 2 settings on it. You know, you got your long black setting, and you know, maybe it's also got like the espresso shot. All right, it's got an Americano button, so it's just coffee with a bit of water, and it's got the espresso shot, which is pretty much just coffee with like way less water.
But what happens when your vegan fancy hipster aunt comes to stay and you need to make a soy latte, huh?
Exactly. Well, then you're in trouble. And that's kind of like what's going to happen here potentially from Jieshi, is that he comes with the vegan hipster soy build. And then Coffee's like, well, I don't have a button for this. I don't know what to do. Which is what happened. You know, his plans get messed with. He doesn't have a setting for that. I'm just hoping one day in the future to become champion, Coffee needs to upgrade himself to have 6 or 8 more buttons. You know, to have like, you know, maybe even a hot chocolate button. Like, just diversify. Have a little bit on that machine. You know, those hotel coffee machines. To just not just be an Americano machine. Just don't be a flat white machine. Don't be an espresso machine. Have a little bit for everybody, so that you can be diversified and handle those early game upsets and that plan being messed with. You know what I mean?
Adaptability and flexibility, range. You know, options. People are all about choice in 2021, and definitely, I think, to crack through, that will be the next evolution. Well, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe he can do it here. Of course, this is the match to fight for the right to challenge the king for his throne. And interestingly, Coffee already turning an SCV around and hiding it behind the third. I think that's for a follow-up scout on the tech. So I think he just wants to send that in as this adept leaves.
Ooh. Yeah, doesn't really get a look there. It was also bruised from earlier, so only 2 shots from the adept to finish him off. So the SCV didn't work out there for Coffee. And Jieshi is going for the Twilight Council, so it looks like a Blink Expand build.
Indeed it does. We'll see exactly where it goes. I wouldn't mind a quick Dark Shrine. It's not too late to send a probe out. You can always do that. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh,
no.
Jieshi. Oh, no.
Jieshi getting Jay shown out of the natural right there by a few Marines. Got caught there. A good read from Coffee and good play. But, yeah. It kind of denies all information from the Protoss, and he loses a relatively expensive early game unit.
I think realizing the SCV didn't get in, but that meant the Adept cancelled the Shade. Meant it was going to be coming in at a different time to normal, which means Protoss player might not be as used to watching it, and also it means you've got 2 extra Marines, so you could move right up to the grass to ambush it. So I love that adjustment from Coffee, small one. Jieshi's doing the exact same build that he does in a lot of his games, but he's going to be going for gas. So it looks like we'll be seeing a quick 2-base Colossus behind the Blink by the looks of it.
All right. Yeah, just a bit of a safety play from Jieshi. He's really not cutting too many corners, playing very, very conservative. And Coffee, similarly, like he is sending out an SCV now for a bit of a look, maybe just to make sure that there's a third Nexus or not. Trying to save that scan, and then he's going to send out the medevac with Widow Mines. Oh my god, a pocket of Marines is also leaving.
Oh, he's going to do the Marine run by. Okay, I don't mind it. Old school. Coffee bringing back a classic. You don't see this in the meta because if it's predictable, it's terrible. It just does not work. But if you walk into that natural with these Marines, as the Widow Mine drop goes in, very hard for the Protoss player to deal with it. It's not flexible. Marines are very bad at getting home. But this is classic Coffee coming in for a surprise, and he's actually just going to look for the deny on the third, so he's being a little more conservative with these Marines for now. Stalkers are pulled out of position. I think you should realize this is a bait, Jieshi. There's a Widow Mine drop in your main.
Now the Stalkers are being blank over here, which means that the main's losing focus, and in comes the medevac with the Widow Mines. Is Jieshi looking at the Widow map? Yes, he is. A decent enough probe split, losing 4. So really not too bad, actually. Oh, this one burrows, but a good probe split again. Blink. Oh, missed the blink, unfortunately. Or it might have been on cooldown.
Either way, this looks okay for Jieshi. Really good handling. Gets a few Marines. Defends the Widow Mines. 4 probes. Could have been a lot worse there. So good crisis management. But he's definitely been pushed off the chance of a third base for a while. Coffee has not, you know, really showed too many signs of where he's going, other than the fact that he is going 3 racks before Command Center. So he's building Marauders, Marines, upgrades like Stim starting to come on in there. I actually think Jieshi's play is very good against this in terms of just safety and control. As long as he starts a Colossus up in a moment, Jieshi should have it ready by the time the Terran attack comes. And Jieshi, oddly enough, is actually going to go range on the Colossus before starting the first one. A little bit of a supply block, true, but there we go. Okay, it is on the way now. So Jieshi adding 1 sentry. He's just probably going to have the single one for Guardian Shield, handful of Blink Stalkers, Colossus, and he'll have quite slow charge, but I don't think he'll need it for a long time.
Yeah, Colossus Blink Stalker does handle quite a bit, especially when you're defending against the, you know, the attack timings of the Terran, which Coffee is lining up for with the Medevac +1, Combat Shield, and Stim. You always, as a Terran, want to try and make something happen. Well, actually, as any race, really, just to try and make something happen as an upgrade finishes. You have a bit of a power spike, and you've got to try and capitalize on those moments here. That's when you're the strongest. So we do have the charge coming up next here. Forge coming around the corner as well, but charge will not be done in time with Coffee's push, I don't think, or just about the same time as Coffee moves out here.
3rd CC on the high ground. I do like that. A little more conservative from Coffee as he's going to start to move out. These Stalkers, just 3 of them, going to tickle a Medevac and get the heck out of dodge because they do not want to risk getting caught on the map. 2nd Colossus is on the way. I would love to see a chrono boost on that for Coffee. For Jieshi, sorry, as that will definitely help shore up his defense.
Widowmine's going to try the main base again. They're back. Stalker's not too far from being in position, or splitting the Medevacs up for the natural and the main. So a pro pull in the main base. The Widowmine still has its charge, actually kills a Stalker there, and the one in the main base is actually denying quite a bit of mining.
Oh my! A crazy attack from Coffee, just trying to run up into the natural. Wow, a wild risk.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to work out for him here as he gets cut in half by those force fields, and also this Colossus coming out just in time for Jieshi to push back the bio. Oh, wow.
Okay.
No. Okay, he's going to go for the main, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, if he goes for the main, that's insane. He just got shut down there by Jieshi, so Coffee really has to back off right now.
Coffee does like to drop a lot. Remember that Lightshade game against Firefly where he was really far ahead and he just kept dropping, didn't seem to know how to finish it. So.
Well, yeah, I think he basically thought his Marauders were actual literal bombs because he was just dropping them on top of the Protoss army the whole game. He was like, I will Doom Drop on your army. Like, it was the most aggro Doom Drop focused Terran I've ever seen. And it did end up, I think he ended up winning that game, but it looked like it was going to slip away from him a few times. Nonetheless, double drop coming in behind the 3rd. Yeah, with Blink being done, it's very risky to send these in.
Yeah, most certainly is. The 3rd is so exposed, and charge lots are on the way. So it looks like Coffee's going to take some damage at 3rd base here. His army just underneath that observer, so obviously Jieshi knows all about it. There's the drop at the 3rd nexus. Charge lots hitting the 3rd base of the Terror at the same time. Both players' 3rds being hit. So far, things are looking a little bit better for Jieshi defensively. Oh, it loses a sentry to the Widowmine, which kind of stinks. Bit of denied mining time. Medevacs show up a little bit earlier. Oh my god, Bio just running through the natural. There's the Robo, depowering it here.
The Stalker's going to try and defend the main. The Colossus are not here right now. Coffee, he's found an opening, and he's starting to make some real good value out of it. He's going to take down some of these Zealots before they finish warping in. The drop comes back in on the 3rd at the same time. Jieshi's Colossus are just doing nothing right now. They're busy chasing around Medevacs. Coffee's wild drop play is working out. Recalls the Colossus back to the 3rd, and he's gone. The Colossus are doing nothing, Maynard.
It's because this is what happens when you lose all your Stalkers, Pig. Those Marauders and Marines picked up all the Stalkers in the main base, and there's no anti-air anymore here for Jieshi. He's getting picked apart by these Medevacs.
Yeah, he needed to split the Colossus and Zealots into his armies. Jieshi went for a bit more of a simpler setup where he just wanted Stalkers to shut down the drop in the main, everything else at the 3rd. But in these situations where the Terran commits their whole army to drops, you have to split it 50-50. You've just got to split into 2 big mobile squads. Oh!
One Marauder lives to tell the tale, but it is a glorious tale. The death of that Colossus. I got a weird army on the left side there. A couple landed Vikings. Looks like Coffee just rallied those Vikings across the map, maybe smelling a win. He's killed 16 probes, so he may just get... I mean, that is a ton of damage. The 4th of the Protoss has been sent to the Stone Age. Like, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Jieshi's just trying to put the pieces back together on their 3 Nexi here. Meanwhile, the Terran taking a huge supply lead at the moment.
Yeah, this is a very nice situation for Coffee now. He's building Vikings. He's got a few Medevacs left over that can heal up his buy. 5 Medevacs is plenty. The fact that he's already got 5 Vikings with 6 and 7 on the way is great. He's building missile turrets to be safe against DTs. I mean, Coffee doesn't have a 4th command center or 2-2. And I mean, that just makes sense. This is Coffee. I don't think Coffee ever wants to make an armory in this matchup. Coffee is a timing attack focused player. He wants to be hitting you hard and fast. His SCV count is probably a lot higher than it really should be. As you can see, 27 workers on that 3rd base. But I'm pretty sure he's just going to be going for another big attack, as there's no armory, no 4th base on the way. Ghost Academy, funnily enough, but I think he pulls the boys before the ghosts are ready, to be honest. I think he's just going to pull the boys and hit a big Bio Viking attack.
I think that would be a really effective play, so it makes a ton of sense for sure. He's got tons of Vikings. Colossus, he's not really afraid of them at all. Disruptors, definitely a different story, though. And Disruptors and a lot of ground units would be a problem for Coffee. But, yeah, I'm with you. Like, the armory's not here. We're not seeing an intention to go into 2-2 upgrades. It does seem like a boy pull.
Oh, Prism there on the left. So far back that the Vikings don't find it. They went up there, but they fell short. They did not quite see it. Observer sees this army. We've got Concussive, Enhanced Shockwaves. That is, of course, the Ghost AoE upgrade for the MP3. Ghosts are on the way. It looks like he wants to wait for them, but this is going to give Jieshi time to recover. Jieshi's going to have +1 armor in not too long. He's got Disruptors coming out. Jieshi could get a second robot. That would be fantastic, because his Colossi are going to go down very fast to the Vikings.
They certainly are. There's a ton of Vikings here. Even without their attack upgrades, the Vikings are just going to delete those units. Bunker here to handle that. I mean, it's only 2 Zealots, so there's not really a whole lot to worry about. Here come the other 2, a little bit late to the party. Oh, no. Colossi already dealing with the Vikings over that beautiful terrain here for the Terran, where the Vikings can't really be dealt with. Pulls back from the Disruptor. The Widowmines erasing the Zealots, and this push looks deadly.
Oh, that's it. Just so much bio. Just walking right over the top of Jieshi. Not enough units to hang on. And well played by Coffee. Great split of the army in those drops, taking advantage of Jieshi, who wanted to centralize all of his power into Colossus, and he did not have the ability to spread his army and keep up with the mobility of Coffee. Coffee now finishes off with a sharp attack through the middle. Upgrades be damned. He is going for a 4th command center and an armory finally. But this is something even the very best TVP players in the world regularly do. They delay that 2-2 to just have more stuff to hit a sharp attack. You've got to stop the Protoss getting too big, and that's exactly what Coffee did.
And GG, Coffee playing very well and getting game 1. It was so interesting to me that the SCVs weren't a part of that action. He actually took a 4th base. And I'm like, well, if you're looking to take a 4th base and just play a macro game, why no armory, bro? It was pretty interesting, but I mean, it worked. You know, that attack got the job done. He had a powerful enough army. He definitely made enough really smart and very efficient plays in the mid game there to get himself into that position. It was just odd to not see like 2-2 finishing and you know. it's
such a funny thing, right, with Terran. And I mean, this was a very risky maneuver. You could see he was kind of trying to do this play from the start. He said, look, if you're on Colossus Sentry, well, that's good if I attack into it, but if I just run in a different direction and start a step deeper into your base, you're never going to catch the stem bio and kill all your workers. And this is where it finally paid off. He was looking for the same maneuver earlier. You could tell he was like, I know how to beat this style and the way you play it, Jieshi. I'm just going to attack in multiple areas, and I'm going to like start a step away from your Colossi. I mean, this was so beautiful. This moment, hey, I just cleared your 3rd again, recall. Oh, already gone, buddy. Like, that was the real kicker.
Yep. And he picks off this Colossus here as only the Marauder lives to get that last shot off, but that was pretty sick. And also, you kind of saw the beginning of it there, but erasing the Stalkers was really paramount to this play working out, because then the Medevacs really have free reign to fly between base to base to base. And then with that terrain, that island in the middle there, that mountain, whatever you want to call it, or the very tall mound out the front of that 4th base location for the Protoss, the Vikings could just sit there and pick off the Colossi with their 9 range, which is insane positioning there for Coffee. It's a dream scenario and a dream engagement for the Terran. And then once you EMP that army, those Disruptors really do die very, very fast. You know, they're an extremely scary unit, but they're kind of made of paper, and they die real quick to a right-click from bio units. So that was a beautiful engagement from Coffee, and while the beginning was a little bit awkward, textbook from then out.
Exactly. Only a few Disruptors out at that point, did not have time to transition at all, and hopefully Jieshi learns the lesson there. If you are going to sit back and play a style like that, exactly what I was kind of betting Jieshi wouldn't do to win this series. Not a good way to start it off. But if you're going to do that, you've got to split the Colossi up. You've really got to kind of have something supporting those Blink Stalkers, because there's no meat. There's no charge lots in there early. There's no Archons. It's all Stalkers, Sentries, Colossi. You've got to be in the right position. And as you said, the Stalkers go down, and well, guess what? Your army just cannot keep up at all. So hoping to see Jieshi turn things around and rush Dr. Blah in the next map. I'm cheering for him still. I still believe he's got some cheesy builds up his sleeve.
I want to see some Zest being channeled here. And if he just wants to make gateway units, I want to see some parting being channeled. I want to see those 4 gateways. I want to see those Blink Stalkers in the main base of the Terran, ripping it apart from within. Hoping that Jieshi gets a map and makes this competitive, of course. Guys, we'll take a short break. When we return, Jieshi versus Coffee map 2. So do not go away. We'll see you then. G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back to the DreamHack main event here for China. I am Maynard with me as Pig. We are in the first best of 5 for the day, and we are currently 1 map in, with Coffee currently being 1-0 up on Jieshi. Things looking pretty normal here for Coffee. He hasn't lost a map to Jieshi yet in this tournament. Will Jieshi begin to fight back in map 2? I hope that's the case, Pig. Tell me how it's going to happen, though.
Fastest Twilight Council you've ever seen into a proxy Dark Shrine.
Hell yeah.
Crossing my fingers for it, Maynard.
Yeah. Cutting Blink out of the build completely to afford that Dark Shrine even quicker. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, like, basically what I'm seeing from Jieshi is still, in that game 1, that was still what I call ladder PvT, Maynard. That still didn't feel like tournament PvT. Because what are we focusing on? Jieshi was focused internally on doing things right. and his opponent was focused on taking advantage of him, right? Coffee was playing tournament match. If Jieshi wants to do it, he's got to deny scouting a little more, and he's got to look for some sharp edges, some harassment, some things to throw Coffee out of his element. I am cheering for Jieshi because I want to see how Coffee adapts and handles that sort of stuff. We'll see what happens here in map number 2. Let you introduce your boy.
In the top right here, sending an SCV across the map really early, getting assertive. This is Coffee.
And representing his team, Lao Power, down here in the bottom left in the blue of 2,000 atmospheres, it's Jieshi.
All right, so I was thinking, is this an engineering bay block or something a little bit more sinister? Turns out it is the ladder peg barracks on the other side of the map with the gas being taken back at home. And the second gas now from Coffee. So this is a barracks, usually into a factory to wall off at home. And I'm guessing probably Reapers out of this barracks.
Yeah, indeed. Definitely looks like that is the case so far. Definitely something which Jieshi, who has not scouted at all yet, could be in trouble against, but at the same time, get a bit more minerals available when you don't scout. So, and we'll see. He's going to go Cybercore before Nexus, which to some extent keeps you quite safe anyway.
Yeah, it's a good start on paper.
Nexus going to go down there on the natural, and SCV coming from a little bit of an odd direction. Not sure if he caught that because it's a little hard to tell, but that is not the angle I believe the SCV should be coming from. I think it should have been coming from the right a little more.
If you send it across the map from top right, it should be going through the ramp, the blue ramp, not the yellow one or the
like the really
one.
narrow ramp that it's leaving through now. Yeah. Well, it's just one Reaper for it now, so not even bothering with the second Reaper. Depth's just started. And here we go. Let's see how good Jieshi's micro is. He's got to pull back those weak probes and pull other probes to fight. He's already lost one, though. Ooh, it's looking like Coffee's going to get at least 2. Wow, that's a very quick double snipe.
Yeah, and while the probes are getting pulled back and his probe micro is all right at the moment, losing 3 is pretty rough. And that Reaper actually has multiple ways out of the main on this map. The Cybercore blocking him off on the left. He's dead. There we go. All right, getting the Reaper at least. Glass half full for Jieshi.
Yeah, I think as long as you get the Reaper there and there's no second one, it's not too bad for Jieshi. Losing 3 for me, I'm like, it doesn't feel good by any means, but it's absolutely recoverable. That barracks has to float all the way home. There's no Marines, no reactors building off it. Normally the barracks is such an important building for getting those early add-ons up, and instead being forced to go command center on the high ground into a Cyclone. So Jieshi, I just want to see him be very careful, shade to scout, but don't be running up that ramp. That's very dangerous. If he does, immediately run home.
And I like just the relatively blind Cyclone here from Coffee to defend, like whether there be a Stargate on the map or one of the places Protoss to just go for early gateway unit pressure. The Cyclone kind of does it all, and it's builds fast too. So big fan of just getting one of those and then doing the switcheroo, which is happening right now. Actually going into a Tech Lab starport here, right into Raven. No, Banshee. All right.
Banshee, very good kind of raw damage unit, helps keep you a little safe. You've got so few units here. I mean, that's what's crazy about these openings is you could kill a few probes. You're like, yeah, this is awesome. And I mean, well, what if Jieshi just hit with a proxy gate counter? You've got nothing to defend. And Jieshi's gonna get the Cyclone. Oh, he stops to attack. Oh, he needed to keep moving, and I think he would have got it.
Yeah, respect to the Cyclone lock on and disengage. The Cyclone survives. Could actually get repaired back at home and then get back out there again. It's not a bad unit for scouting as well, as the Cyclone is quite fast. As the Banshee is on the way here, Terran dropping a bunker to secure the natural. Orbital time here for the Terran, and the barracks are about to get all their tech labs lined up. As the third barracks is on the way, first and second barracks are about to get their tech labs and reactors escorting leader. Start up stim and head towards the regular macros phases of the Terran. Nothing really crazy coming out of Coffee at all now after the proxy and the Banshee. It is just switching into normal plays.
All right, Jieshi's going observers, going blinks, shield battery gases. It looks like the same build as the last game. Once again, very much looking to sit back.
No battery.
Now. Oh, only in the natural. Oh, that's a big bummer. There is an observer out, though. And I guess you don't need it. No cloak, actually. So Banshee won't be able to get a crazy amount. Blink is almost done. Banshee's got to be careful.
Well, 2 is damage, and the Banshee is still full hit points, so she goes to chill on the left side of the map. Blink is about to finish, so the Banshee should not be long for this world if it tries to shoot again. In fact, it's still in range of the Stalkers. There we go. All right, nestled into the safe zone in the bottom left there. And now that's a constant thing that Jieshi's going to have to worry about, so he forces out a shield battery at least. Oh, there is no shield battery in the natural. Oh, it's at the front. Excuse me.
All right, gonna come back in. Oh, Jieshi, you gotta just leave some Stalkers here, mate.
Oh, one more shot. Ah, man. That's frustrating. Actually getting 4 kills in total there on the probe line. It is slowing down Jieshi's economy somewhat, but he is still ahead in workers as you would like to be at this phase of the Protoss. But maybe you'd like to be up ahead a little more. You know, losing those 7 probes, definitely avoidable. And Robotics Bay coming up next. This is looking extremely similar to Game 1's build from Jieshi. Maybe he just thinks that nothing wrong with the build, just didn't execute well enough.
And still very passive, though. It's so easy to make these small mistakes with this sort of play where you're just sitting in your corner of the map. There is nothing here disrupting Coffee. And we were saying it before, Coffee looks like a world-class player if you let him. I mean, a lot of Terrans do. It's a classic thing in StarCraft. Anyone you play, if you don't disrupt them, Diamond players can almost look like a pro gamer. You know, it's, oh, cool. Well, look at this build. It's really tight. Yeah, make them react to things. Suddenly, that's where StarCraft becomes incredibly difficult. On the mechanical side, on the strategic level, you know, every single area starts to get tested. So, taking a third here, Jieshi basically is saying, I have faith in my defense. I think I can defend here and just fight really well on the back foot. Let's see if he can do it.
I had a bad feeling that Jieshi was going to try and blink into the Cyclone there. Would have obviously been a mistake. He's trying to bleed out units here. He does have Blink, so he should be able to avoid these Widow Mines. He does still take a connection, though. And he's already lost... Yeah, I mean, he's already lost a handful of Stalkers, and I thought a Colossus was out now. But I think that might be number 1 coming out now.
It's crazy late. This is one of... I mean, the thing with Blink Colossus builds is just, you know, the Colossus is so important because he's not using the Blink Stalkers to control the map. That Banshee pinned him back for so long. And look at this. He's got a shield battery. He will get battery overcharge in a moment. That tank's very far forward. So I think Jieshi can overcharge and just fight this.
I think Jieshi should be able to defend this third base, but he doesn't. Obviously, he doesn't want to lose too many units. So got to blink forward or back, depending on what he wants to go for. He does blink back, still being conservative. Another Widow Mine just trying to break that lock on, which he does. Third base still pretty healthy. It's got yellow hit points now. Blink off, cool down, splits back. Does take a little bit of damage on that Stalker, and Charge Lots are here to push back. Jieshi maintains the third, picks off the medevac, and then pushes back Coffee's rally. This is a good defense from Jieshi in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I was there going, oh, you know, be cheeky, don't just sit back. But that's the sort of defense that he had faith in. The ability to just shut down that push. That tank was a little bit too close in, and the double shield battery was just so well positioned. Jieshi now has a lot of freedom on his side. He's got Colossi out, 2 of them up, third one on the way. I'd love to see Jieshi just get this third saturated on minerals and just go for a giant attack. Maybe wait for +1 attack. But I want to see big Zealot arc on Colossus. After that sort of fight, you've cleared so many units, you know, look to take the fight. And the most naturally exposed point is going to be when Coffee moves out to take his third. So if Jieshi could get a Prism across, send Zealots in the main, harass, attack the third base, use these sentries, Stalkers, these Colossi, you know, that's what they're so good for. And I think with 4 sentries warping in, I think Jieshi's got that in mind as well.
I think Jieshi might have paused pro production during that attack, by the way, just concentrating on making units, because he really isn't as far ahead on workers as I thought he would be at this point. And may come into play in a couple minutes. Oh, he certainly does. And then Marauder's doing a very good job here against those Stalkers. The triple Colossi should be enough power to fight this back, but he is losing a lot of units here. It's a bit of a trade.
Sentries in the front line, that's not the greatest. This was really actually quite good that Coffee fought this out in the middle of the map, but... Oh, dude! Ow!
Oh, watch out for those Widow Mines, mate. A little bit of footsies here.
Wow, this is a lot of Widow Mines being built by Coffee, which are really not great versus Colossi. I mean, this is wild to see someone build so many Widow Mines. They are not particularly efficient, but it's just creating problems for Coffee, who is having now rebuild an Observer. Templar Archives is not up just yet. He's going to be warping in some Zealots. I think he needs to make a few more Stalkers. Viking production is underway. Jieshi, though, with 3 Colossi, should be able to break his opponent. Like, there is just no real answer to a 3 Colossus army just yet.
I'm actually really concerned for, like, if Jieshi's attack doesn't do critical damage here, I'm very concerned. He may just get it, though. The SCV's being pulled because Coffee's identified these armies too small to actually fight triple Colossus at the moment. Oh, that SCV's dying. He's diving for the Colossus.
Where's the Zealots? Where's the Warp Prism? He left the Warp Prism behind, Maynard. Oh my god, the Warp Prism. He needed that to juggle these Colossi and Warp Zealots into the fight. The Zealots are coming from 2-3 screens away. Jieshi with a big mistake loses all of his tech units. Does it matter though? Maybe not, because he just killed 21 SCVs and wiped the army, but his advantage was those Colossi. If he kept those alive, this would be game right now.
He has stopped probing though. 60's good. We'll see if it's enough. I mean, obviously 21 SCVs has put him in a pretty huge economic lead, so taking the 4th makes a lot of sense. He's got +1 about to finish here to sort of marry up with the Terran's upgrades. +1 armor is on the way, and he definitely has knocked back the army of Coffee while losing his own Colossi. That does sting, but he's on his way to moving, to getting those Colossi back. He doesn't have the 2 Robo just yet. The SCV's even coming here to repair some of these units. Coffee, finding way too much Protoss to handle. He needs to get right back to that 3rd base. I mean, if Jieshi just went with what he had there, I don't know if Coffee could stop it.
Yeah, Coffee is really light on those units, but Jieshi says that's all right. I'll sit back for now, add a few more workers, add an armor upgrade. Doesn't have a lot of gas in the bank rebuilding all these Colossi and Stalkers, and not really taking any more. So the Templar Archives, of course, there for Archons if he ever does bank up gas. Not going to be using it just yet. The Colossus going to try and start the fight. Says, come on, mate. Use those stim packs up. You're not going to get those life back.
All right, well, another SCV pool needs to come here to try and buffer for this army. Zealots getting pulled back, once again sort of retreating with the Stalkers. Another Colossus coming in from downtown. Coffee trying to split his forces to take it down, but I think there might just be too much Protoss here, Pig.
Yeah, that's just too much. Another 20 SCVs go down. The Stalkers are still alive. The Colossi on the right is healthy. And this time, Jieshi manages to hang on.
All right, Jieshi getting the map against Coffee for the first time in this tournament. And is it just the beginning? I hope so. I would love to see Jieshi get the return vengeance here and get into the grand final against Time for his 2nd attempt in the grand final against Time. Actually, like we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, he had that shot at the King back in 2020 of September, so in the fall season of the DreamHack Masters for China, but he missed. And when you come at the King, don't miss, Pig. You know what they say.
You only get one shot. Make it count, mate.
Do not miss your chance to blow.
You know, that is actually why, personally, if I was going to be trying to fight King Time, I'd be poisoning him. I wouldn't challenge him to a duel. I'd poison his wine. I'd put some Dark Templar in his brandy.
Right. Yeah. Put a Psystorm in his car, so he starts the car. Psystorms him. That's definitely the play. I mean, going in an honorable duel is just a mistake. That tank was actually shooting the Nexus there. In the fight, which definitely wasn't doing Coffee any favors, but I'm not sure it mattered too much. So the Protoss army was powerful enough, and with the Zealots showing up, would push all that back. And this is a big moment for Jieshi where he put a critical blow to the economy of the Terran. I was concerned for him there, because I'm like, oh man, like he is not probing. And a lot of the times, he would make a round of 3 probes and then just stop, and it'd be very intermittent. Yeah. I'm like, oh, the macro here not looking super great, but his macro was great. It's just that he was making nothing but units. And it worked. Yeah. So I can't really criticize too hard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I kind of wanted him to do that. It's, you've got your Colossi, your Sentries, your Stalkers. Use this advantage. Put all your money into Zealots and just keep going and going and fighting. So I'm happy that he took that decisive maneuver there in a situation where it would have been easy to go, I'll take a 4th, make a 2nd forge, try and make disruptors. And then, that gives Coffee a window to also get back in the game and start making those drops and things work. So I'm happy that Jieshi did change it up a little bit. I still think he sat back for a very long time before taking the fight to Coffee, and there was still obviously some dicey moments in there. It feels to me like Jieshi said, this is how I'm playing the series, is Blink Colossus 2 base, and I think this will work. So it looks like we're not settling into a series where it's sneaky tricks and, shadowy mind games and that sort of stuff. It really seems like, hey, I'm just going to try and do this, and it's Coffee who's putting twists and turns in the openings. The Reaper, the single Cloakless Banshee, but he also, after his openings, settles into the same rhythm. 3 racks, Medivacs, Heavy Marauder, and just running in and looking for those big attacks.
Well, we'll see if Coffee can change things up a little bit here in game telling. I actually quite liked the mix-up, like going for a proxy barracks there instead of just going for your regular roll +1 attack timing that every Terran likes to do in a regular TVP. Like we mentioned, or like you mentioned, that game 1 was a bit more like a ladder TVP. It looked very, very standard, very, very normal. Let's see some tournament builds here. Let's try and play the opponent rather than the matchup and get in their face. In the bottom right here, losing map 2, looking to win map 3 though. This is Invictus Gaming's Coffee.
And his opponent not going to go down without a fight. Back in this series after that last game. In the blue, representing Team Lao Power, this is Jieshi. Been enjoying the intro music, the production here with the whole team. Been loving sitting back and just watching the action. You know, been casting a lot of weeklies over the last months, Maynard, but just having the Insano cam. Oh, you know, I feel like we miss almost nothing. And I'm not constantly stressed about staring at my minimap because he always shows me things before I need to go find it.
Engineering bay here from Coffee. I always picture Bjorn's smiling face every time I see an engineering bay get down and get at least half hit points.
Oh. Finds it, drops the second pylon. Think we're going to see a Zealot start up.
Yep.
Indeed we will.
Yeah, I got to say a shout out to production for us. Insano is the only observer. We've been able to rotate casters for a lot of our broadcasts. I mean, the Chinese broadcasts have been a lot shorter than the Oceanic and rest of Asia ones with Taiwan, but those days were long days, man. And Insano was the guy observing, and production's been, you know, a full studio up there in Sydney.
You know, shout out to Insano as well. I know he's been just like getting on the health train, working out, eating healthy. Have we ruined the diet? Has he broken the Mickey D's, the McDonald's hiatus? Has the Macca's been ordered? Can we get an update?
he's nodding, but I reckon there's 20 nuggets right next to his keyboard right now.
He's like, no. Well, I'm looking forward to the update from him. We'll make sure to let the audience know as well exactly how he's going on that. Because I tell you, a long day of observing, nothing like some nugs,
That's it,
Big Mac, fillet fish at the end of a day.
Super healthy in the StarCraft off season, but he's just doing DreamHack again, and he's like, something's missing. That's right. I'm not getting that delicious sweet and sour dipping sauce nuggets right now. Proxy Starport here from Coffee, going to go for the 4 Hellion medevac drop. Cool. Proxy from Jieshi as well. Robo. Immortal Rush or straight into Prism. Either way, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be cool. Definitely some very aggro plays. I think Coffee's play would normally win. But, I mean, you see he's on one base here. And you see the factory. You've got to just send all your gateway units home and just chill, right? Like, you've got to know this is the build you have to work. It's either this or Invisible Mines, or often this into Invisible Mines with an armory behind it. So I don't mind a counterattack coming out from Jieshi. You can still use that Robo, but I'd actually like to see an Observer first. I'd like to see him get a bit of vision, try to kind of track what's going on, because I think if he can see where this drop's coming from, intercept it a little bit, it's going to be a huge advantage for Jieshi.
All right, well, the medevac's about to load up with those Hellions, but the proxy of the Protoss is looking extremely powerful as the Starport starts to flow back. It's actually just the 3 Hellions, not the 4 Hellion drop. It does hit a little bit quicker.
Whoa. What's he doing down there? Oh, no, it's in the base. It's in the base.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Oh, no shield battery, Maynard. He's in trouble.
Yeah, he's going to lose a ton of probes here. Still has the potential that proxy doing a lot of damage, but now it absolutely needs to. The Hellions, I'm not sure why he's running. He might as well just go for it. These things have only got a small lifespan. All right.
Gets one out. Wouldn't it be funny if he picks it up and puts it back inside the main? That would be so so sick. He just like drives out of the base, gets back into the medevac, drops in the exact same spot, goes in and kills another 6 probes. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Oh my, that Immortal can't get surrounded though. The Prism is not here just yet. Run, Immortal, yep. Oh, and the siege tank buys time to siege up, so very well done. Immortal gets heavily bruised. Oh, whoa, get out of there. Okay, Jieshi here. I think he's going to need to probe up. I don't think he can actually break a 1-base Coffee this deep in the game. He might look for it, though. The tank wisely going to siege up further back, I think. Yeah,
definitely need to be conservative. Like, he's identified fast Immortal. I'm being all in. Time to put all my eggs in the defense basket. Let's not put anything out in that front door. Pull everything right back to the production. Protect those add-ons. Protect the production facilities. Second tank coming out now. So now he's got a line of tanks. And this is getting more and more comfortable for Coffee.
Yeah, Jieshi's going to have to pull back for a moment. I think you can still potentially jump on him. But for now, maybe do a little bit of drippy drops. There's no Viking out. And the Starport's actually building an add-on. A Viking is usually the most important priority against this sort of attack, because it just shuts down the Prism mobility with this sort of maneuver. But that Immortal is 1 shot from death right now. This is so dangerous. If a tank just shuffles forward, gets 1 shot off, that Immortal's gone.
Yep. Unless Hardened Shield recharges, I suppose. It does have a bit more shield points, but you're absolutely right. It does need to be careful about where it's positioned. Zealot in range of those tanks. Good force field, but the medevac can load Marines and put them down on low ground. SCVs as well. Oh, he's going for the Prism. I like this play from Coffee. Very smart.
Yeah, well done by Coffee. He gets a sentry. A tank sieged up on the low ground. This is getting nasty for Jieshi. He's getting a few SCVs, but he's losing so many units. He's not probing during this. I mean, he's damaging the command center. This is still a dicey situation for both players. Those unupgraded Zealots, very tanky against the siege tank shots, but I think a wise pullback from Jieshi. He's delayed it a lot. He's slowed things down. He is up in workers behind this, and he's going into Colossus, his favored tech. So, you know what? I think Jieshi's done a perfectly fine job. He's going to go do a bit of a Zealot drop inside the main base. Fall back with the main army. And the scary thing for Jieshi is your Robo's on the wrong side of the map, Maynard, which is why he feels this need to keep the aggression up.
Yeah, I mean, when your Colossus, the important unit, is being made in the middle of the map, it does feel a little weird. We do have the Zealots fighting some damage in the main, at least pulling the SCBs off the mineral line, which is damage. Can't lose that Prism, though.
Oh, that Prism's going to hide in the corner. Okay, good save. And yeah, definitely wants to get at least 2 Colossi out. Now I wonder, does Jieshi just invest in another Robo at home in this scenario? It's such an awkward and kind of bad thing to have to do, but... Oh, it's the 4 SCV run by Maynard.
Yeah, the old vintage 4 SCV run by strategy. Very classic. I feel like we don't even need to talk about it because of how normal it is. It's very common knowledge.
It's very common knowledge.
Taking out or slowing down extended thermal lance and +1. Very nice.
Yeah, no range extension on those big daddy long legs.
You almost called it something else, didn't you?
Yep,
oh my god.
Yep. Oh, denied!
Oh, you're kidding.
Wow.
Didn't see that coming.
Very nice. Nicely done there. And oh dude, that's a bummer. He's rebuilding his Robo at home, by the way, expecting to lose the one on the other side of the map is Jieshi. These Marines being a real pain. This is such a small investment from Coffee. This is what we call a value drop, Maynard. Just 8 Marines with stim there. I don't think they even have combat shields. Maybe they do. No, it's just starting up. But they've done a lot of damage. Coffee really setting up well for the next stage.
Indeed. So that play there really kind of slowing down whatever tempo Jieshi maybe have built for himself from that early game. The Colossus production has taken a stopper. He's got 1 whole Colossus. Oh, does get the medevac, though. A good blow back against the Terran. But there goes that Robo. Has he got another one at home? Or has he got a Robo bay with no Robo? It's like a house. It's like a pub with no beer. Oh, he does have the extra Robo. Okay, good.
He did build it. It's always such a bummer, but I think it's wise to have rebuilt it so early. Unfortunately, he also had to rebuild his Robo bay because that got sniped by those Marines. So, all right, now his Colossi don't have range. There's 4 tanks, a Viking, a bunch of Marauders in the front. Like, I don't think he can actually stop this push from Coffee. This actually might just be a game-winning army. Has he got force fields maybe to split the army? If he can get on it before it's charge is done. He's actually, okay, he's got an Immortal and quite a few Zealots. Actually, I think with that Zealot count, he might just be able to do it. Get on the tanks, go, Jieshi.
Oh, Coffee's really late to siege here. Instantly loses a tank. In come the Zealots. The tanks need to target fire down that Colossus. Get rid of the scary unit. Yes, he does get it. But I don't know if there's enough bio to fight this. No, there is not. The charge lots push him back. And Jieshi does hold.
Thank you. You took out my Colossi, says Jieshi. That's fine. I lost extended thermal lance. I don't want to build any of those this game. I actually, like, honestly, don't want to even see a build Colossi. Like, no, they don't have extended thermals. Just go Disruptors. That was a great hold for Jieshi. I think he's back in control of this game to some extent. But he's got to be really careful because he's lost so much Robo production that... I mean, it's romanticide. There is like 17 different drop angles. He's well positioned with his stalkers, but remember, the drop can just go around the left into the main base as well. So this is very dangerous, and Coffee has shown he loves to do these drops. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, big drop here, and that's a big investment from the Terran. He's going to kill a lot of the stalkers, loses 1 medevac. He has to respect these charge lots, gets on out of there. The healthier medevac at the backside, so not going to lose these drops. Oh my god, don't do it, Coffee. What? No! Stop! Are you kidding me?
Has he got something on the right going to the 3rd as well? Yeah. Now, this is Coffee in a nutshell, dude. This is what he did in game 1. There's no blink. There's no Phoenix. There's no blink. Oh my god, a 1 hit point medevac in the main base. Barely survives the feedback. But for how long? For how long? Oh my god, he's trying to get out of there.
A single stalker kills both these medevacs. What are you kidding me, Coffee? No! I can't believe this. He's going to lose the back one. No!
Oh my god.
I feel so bad for Jieshi. I feel like Jieshi, that we just witnessed daylight robbery, and Jieshi just got robbed on screen in front of thousands of people, actually.
Coffee's the kind of guy who just straps himself to an explosive pack of fireworks and just launches himself as, or Coffee is, sorry, just psychopath with those drops to pick up and go back into the main. Wild movies to get to send 2 libs in as well. I mean, this is Coffee. He likes to hit these aggressive moves. Big potential damage. Jieshi, though, dude, look at the production tab. Storm. Extended Thermal Lance is actually going to finish this time. Second Colossi coming out. High Templar with Storm. Jieshi is getting up a very powerful army. He's got a healthy little probe lead. 9 workers. 2 cannons and a battery on the back
He's
there.
done. He's done.
Man.
He's like, stop harassing my natural. It's not going to happen. I'm putting cannons back here. I mean, those Zealots don't get a whole lot done. The Liberators get completely deflected, though, so that's a good deflection from Jieshi. These Liberators are just going to be chilling in between the bottom left of and the far left of the map here. Coffee continuing to send forward his army supplies, getting bigger and bigger. Jieshi really doesn't like building probes, huh?
Well, you know, it's somewhat advisable, I think, against Coffee. He's going to drop into you so aggressively a lot of the time and hit these aggressive timings. And it's also a style we've seen, and I'm kind of the same always whenever I see it, but I've been worn down, Maynard. So, you know, I've been often in your shoes of like, you know, can I build more probes? And I've watched guys like Trap just be like, nope, I'm not allowed to build more than 55 probes. And I'm like, it's a 35-minute PvT. And he's like, I want more Zealots. And I'm like, no, come on, man.
A lot of people have been criticizing Zest for quote-unquote not playing correctly. You know, that whole mindset of, well, if you can build probes, why aren't you building probes? And Zest is like, you idiot. Now I can make more Zealots. Hello? The minerals go into the Zealot bank. They go into the Zealot printer. That's the ink that goes in my Zealot printer, not the probe printer. Hello?
And if he's playing PvZ, he doesn't make charge for them as well.
Exactly. I mean, if the Zerg units come to him, then why does he need the Zealots to run into the battle?
Exactly. It's all logic, it's reasoning, and if you'd graduated science school nerds, then you would also agree with all of these pieces of reasoning. Bunker not full just yet, unfortunately, but plenty of siege tanks to scare off those Zealots. SCVs go down, but no biggie just yet. Jieshi now, as he gets established on all these bases, does start some more probes. Jieshi, of course, a little allergic to second forges as well, and that could come back to bite him later in this game, as Coffee's actually settling into a massive macro rhythm. Vehicle weapon upgrades. He's continued tank production for quite a while in this game and is not stopping anytime soon. So Coffee's actually really investing in like a heavy siege tank count. He's going for 2-2. He's getting a 4th command center. Coffee is building to the latter stages, and the Coffee that attacks and always throws his army into you, well, that Coffee is absent from this game. This is a defensive Coffee who's waiting for the later stage.
He's got enhanced shockwave for those ghosts as well, and a really nice siege line, a conga line, and that SimCity on the back line as well.
That's the ghost sound that you were describing it to me last night, Maynard. I was talking about the marine sound of the Chinese client. This is incredible. That was wow.
Blink. Oh, unfortunate. Just missed the medevac there. Yeah, man. Like it's Academy Award winning. The ghost voice actors. Like the guy that actually voiced the ghost on the English, the English voice actor for the ghost is actually an award-winning voice actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like the voice for Death in Darksiders. He's in animes. He's in he's like the book in the Nier games, Grimoire Weiss. Like he's actually a really good voice actor. But they're like, we need you to overact the hell out of the death of this unit.
Yeah. So, like this is
so interesting.
This is a ghost. A ghost is like a sniper. It's gonna be like a Boromir scene every time, man.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Boromir does take a solid 45 minutes to get done, doesn't he? But we do have the nukes being built here from Coffee. Stuff's getting explosive, literally, in this game.
No disruptors yet for Jieshi. Jieshi's staying Colossus Storm for now. Getting a DT Shrine very late in this game, but only at 67 probes. There's no room for error for Jieshi. It's all big army has to fight damned well, because you're not going to have any room to recover after a failed fight. Now, for Coffee, I'd really love to see Coffee, now that he's maxing out, drop 3 more command centers, like get the orbital count up. That's where Coffee can build insurance for himself, you know, have the extra mules dropping, extra scans to see what's going on. Extra factory goes down for Coffee. So Coffee is playing the Unbreakable Terran. This is, you know, very TY inspired. You never stop building tanks. You use your EMPs plus tank sieged on all your bases, so that you've always got the range advantage in any defensive situation. It's really hard to attack into this as Protoss.
It certainly is. He's going to try, though. In he comes. Big EMP on the Stalkers. Of course, not the unit you really want to EMP, but softening them up is still great. Does take them... oh, that's a big counterattack on the north side.
Lots of cannons and batteries, though. No Nexus recall energy right there. See how he does. Cannons will go down. Zealot's starting to warp in. No DTs just yet. This army's going to go in for Jieshi. Wow. That's a lot of siege tanks. Oh, big storms, though.
Yeah, certainly is. Some big storms coming on in. Some big splash damage there and forcing it back. Maintaining a lovely concave against the Terran here. That front line of Stalkers is bruised, but it's still huge in numbers. And the Colossi are looking very healthy on the back line, shredding those SCVs.
Wow.
In comes and goes for some more EMPs, but there's no actual fighting units, only spellcasters at the moment back at home for the Terran.
Oh, wow, those ghosts do get revealed as an observer comes in and starts to take him out. And this Bioforce is doing massive damage to Jieshi at home as he is everything in breaking on the front. And I love that choice. He warped in more Zealots on the front. He said, I don't care if I take damage at home. As long as I support these Colossi and break you on the front, I will crack through. And that's exactly what he needed to do. Yes, these units did end up doing massive damage. In a different situation, it might be game-ending economic damage going down. But in this case, Coffee did not have the support to defend those siege tanks.
And Jieshi wins his second map in a row here, taking him to the ace match. Oh, boy. Jieshi with one more map. If he can do it, that's a rematch against time. That's September 2020 all over again here for May. That is incredible. Actually, an important update from the back room. Insano's not on the Nuggets. He's on the Halal Snack Pack, a staple of many Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights here in Australia.
Okay, not bad then, not bad. I gotta say, you know, there could be worse decisions being made there. The Halal Snack Pack is a legendary piece of fuel. When you're working long days observing these sort of barbecues, I mean, you're gonna get hungry.
Yeah, it's as many carbs as you could possibly need to burn that midnight candle. So we do have the hold here from the Terran. I actually thought it was a pretty good hold there from Jieshi. This was very unexpected. I didn't expect those 8 Marines to actually not only depower the Forge and the Robotics Bay, but kill the Robotics Bay. That was pretty huge. Coffee looked like he actually wasn't looking at his army as it was approaching this ramp, which is a bit of a mistake, because he was sieging very late, did not scan ahead, and got caught there by that attack, and that took a lot of the wind out of his sails. The drop play, though, as it started to kick in, I mean, you mentioned when this was happening, this is Coffee in a nutshell. Look over here while I drop over here, and then look over here while I drop over there. And he was finding damage, to be sure, but he wasn't really killing units, and that's why Jieshi had this big old ball of Protoss over here.
Yeah, Jieshi had enough of these goddamn parlor tricks and just said, no, 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 get out of here with your little drippy droppies and your silly little run bunnies. I'm going to keep warping in Zealots on the front and just crack on through that base. And it worked out very well. It took a little while for Coffee to pull a few of his tanks down from the north to reinforce that area and actually survive and defend it. But yeah, in the end, just cracked through. And I like Jieshi adjusting and adapting. What I'm so impressed by here is to remember there was a Robo. Proxied Robo. Did it find massive damage, Maynard? No, but he was putting pressure on. He was making Coffee uncomfortable. And then even when he caught that tank push up in the top side of the map, he was on equal workers with Coffee. Bad? Yeah, if the game goes on, but if you crush the enemy's army, kill all their siege tanks by having plenty of charge lots, that's awesome. That's fantastic. So to me, it felt like Jieshi was really showing his flexibility here. He was trying to immediately counter the one base build with that proxy robo to try and catch him out on low production. Didn't find killing damage, but then he also massively produced units without really probing the third, and Coffee got overly aggressive into it. So I think Jieshi here is starting to really adapt and play some very anti-Coffee PvT rather than just your vanilla PvT.
And that's generally how you do well in tournaments. You know, it's one of those things where you don't play the matchup, you play the man. There are, you know, you could be really good at TVZ on the ladder against your regular ladder Zerg, but then when you're up in a tournament, you know, TVZ is a lot different than TV Bly or TV Reyna. You know, those are two polar different Zergs, you know.
Oh,
and then there's a whole different kind of, you know, a whole laundry list of different kinds of Protosses and Terrans out there as well, who are different ends of the spectrum.
What about but always, like, right, we were casting Taiwan, it's like, he will, any tech you see, he will cancel and build the opposite. Any tech that you spot, he's never going to commit to. It's like, that is, you know, you actually shouldn't respond to things you see when you're playing against but always. Like, there is a different mode for every type of player.
Exactly. You know, all these players, you know, it's not about how good they are or how bad they are. It's what they play like and trying to respect that. And in some cases, if you can, counter it completely. And I like that. You know, that's how you win tournaments. And that's, you know, what we're seeing from the people that do get deep, like your Times, like your Jieshis. Although it does, to be fair, time hasn't really been playing his opponents much. It's more like, I'm just going to do my build that I do in this matchup and just execute it pretty pristinely, because that's another factor of StarCraft 2, let's be honest. Just being better at it can sometimes be enough. And let's see if this guy can fight back and take it to the ace match. I hope so. I want a game 5 here. In the bottom right, from Invictus Gaming, this is Coffee.
It's not his map pick, though. This map was picked by the Protoss player in the bottom left. In the blue, it's Jieshi.
He's going to have to Jay show us what he's got planned here. Show me what you got.
Gold base, gold base, gold base. Show me your gold base. Gold bases are really bad, generally speaking, as like a, let's just take it as my natural. But maybe something that works it in later on in the game. You never quite know. It is a good early probe scout for Jieshi, so he wants to double check that he's not being proxy barracked again.
I do remember SOS going, I think it was SOS trying to go for the proxy, no, not the proxy, but the gold base Nexus.
You know what I really like? I really like taking it from behind in multiple matchups.
I'm glad you finished that sentence. You could go on.
The gold base, because they don't scout it. People never scout the backside because the gas is not important there. If you're just trying to get it, you're usually just doing it for a mineral boost. Usually you do that. It's kind of secretive, kind of cheesy what you do to follow up with it, but definitely something that you want to try to mix in there. Obviously, I only really seen it with a couple of the wilder Zerg players out there, but I'm just waiting for Hass or someone out there who's got a big enough brain to find some little mind games where they can pull it off.
And it is quite smart, in all seriousness. People aren't going to scout that the backside gold or whatever you want to call it. You know, it's a pretty clever way to play it. For all you cheeky players out there that keep, oh, my gold keeps getting scouted. It's like, yeah, it's because it's Blackburn. It's going to get scouted. So people are going to look there. Just put it on the backside. Genius.
Genius. Stargate does go down. Okay, bit of a change up here from Jieshi and Voidray Adept Maynard.
I'm a fan. I think it's pretty damn effective. We've seen it from multiple players in multiple regions.
Firefly got in with it, as right? Beat
I believe so.
That
yeah.
On Beckett. So I mean, it's so funny. I see a Stargate in PvT, and that's where my mind goes. But I'm like, but I mean, it's worked against Coffee before. It's a cute build that these guys, this region might bring out. Of course, first unit out of the Stargate will tell us a lot. Could be an Oracle's Phoenix. Could be straight Phoenix just for control and defense. I think they're all good choices here. And honestly, Phoenix Colossi for a defensive player like Jieshi, it's a good way to play. He likes sitting back and just defending, and he doesn't like dealing with the drops. These drops have been so annoying. Think about the bottom of this map and how much space there is to drop in your main base. Like, Phoenix controlling that, I think this is a very good choice by Jieshi.
Yeah, and it is a good map for it. We're a big fan of it. We got the early game Reaper and the Hellion coming down to chase out Adept and gun her down. They will outpace and beat the fight if they want to go toe-to-toe with the Adept. So she's toast. Trying to take the Reaper with her. Denied. Very quick medevac from Coffee, by the way.
Yeah, well, nice quick medevac into Phoenix. Definitely what you'd like as Jieshi there. You're like, okay, yeah, losing a unit on the map is always kind of a bit bad, but if I can catch that drop, it's a very good start. So Secretive Phoenix openings really want the Terran to overcommit to some pressure. And a Robo goes down behind to set up for the Colossus switch. Usually only about somewhere between 4 and 6 Phoenix is usually where people stop, but there's the occasional person who just never stops building them. In this case, of course, Jieshi already slowing down on those Phoenix for now.
All right.
Oh, doesn't want to get scouted.
Ooh.
Hide the Phoenix, hide the Phoenix.
All right, well, the jig is up on the Phoenixes. They are going to fly through some of the slow zones as well if they beeline to the Terran's main, which actually, weirdly enough, gives Coffee a bit more time to defend, and he's got his Marines positioned in next to the main base already. Not a whole lot in the natural. It does seem like he's going to lose some SCVs if the Phoenixes swing on by.
Yeah, already slowing down.
The question is how much.
The barracks, that's a nice way to go. And is up to 4 gases behind this is Jieshi. Of course, Phoenix into Colossi is a very tech-heavy style. Forge does go down as well, as Observer's starting on up. Factories and starports swapping over. Hellion's coming in. There is a shield battery at the front of the base. Those probes could pull over to it for a bit of safety.
Gold nearly got that second probe there. Was just in range of that hurt one that was one shot in the middle. One's probe goes down. The Hellions come in for a little bit of a disruption of the natural of Jieshi. The Phoenixes are swinging by for another shot at the SCV line. Turret's not done, so they're going to get a couple more here. Or not.
Ooh.
There we go.
Well, the Phoenix all still alive, and just getting an SCV here or there. As long as you don't lose those Phoenix, it's all good. Robo Bay is now finishing up. Third base is starting for Jieshi. And +1 on the way, as well as Immortal production. I think we'll probably see Charge come in as the first Twilight upgrade for Jieshi. As really, you've got 5 Phoenix out. Blink is just not a priority in this sort of game.
The Colossi start to get en masse here for Jieshi. Number 1 is on the way. And the third Nexus also getting secured. Looks like a battery going up at the third as well. Just nice and early, even though it doesn't really have any units there to benefit from that shield battery. He knows we'll need it later. The Terran gets closer and closer to that Stim combat shield and +1, where they are going to start to get their presence felt on the map here. Here we go. Coffee moving out with Marines, Medivacs, Mines. Very, very good against the Phoenixes and the Gateway units. Colossi, less so. Oh, wow. As far as Gateway units are concerned, there is not a whole lot of an army on the ground for Jieshi at the moment.
Oh, going to pick up these Marauders and take them out very quickly.
Very nice.
Jieshi's army might be small, but you know what? It's very technical and effective. Oh, Widow Mines as well. Also very good pickups, but that means that's most of his pickups gone, and here comes the big drop into the main.
Big old drop in the main here, and there is some important tech. Once again, the Robo Bay and the Forge placed right next to each other. And Coffee says, don't mind if I do. I'll just deny both these upgrades and these tech structures.
Oh, man. Oh, Coffee, tech sniper.
That's it. And the Phoenixes are going to come over the Medivacs, but they're just going to unload his Marines and force the Phoenixes back. Some Marines did die in the making of that defense, but picking off the Robo Bay and the Forge, that's going to slow Jieshi down quite a bit.
At the same time, there was great value on the other side of the map for the Phoenix as well, right? 2 Widow Mines, 2 Marauders, 2 Marines, 2 SCVs. Like that was kind of nice. So in a way, it balances out. Like it's like, well, value for value, direct cost. That's actually better for Jieshi, but obviously upgrades a scale. Slowing those upgrades down is huge. It really does. And it's going to add a lot. He's just going to hit the same angle again. Where's the observer coverage? Jieshi way out of position.
Another drop in the main. And it's going to work again here. This is a fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me situation for Jieshi. Coming in with the Phoenixes, obviously they arrive first. The Bio is doing a bit of damage here, but nothing really critical just yet. And the Phoenixes should be able to cover those Medivacs on the retreat. So This is very dedicated from Coffee. He's going in.
Oh, man. He's getting slaughtered.
Yeah. I mean, he does kill a lot of the Phoenixes, but he lost a ton of resources there during that drop. And what he really got was like a pylon and Phoenixes.
Jieshi's charge finished yet?
I am not aware of that. No, actually, he's no charge, no blink.
Yeah, his Twilight's just been sitting idle this entire time. Or did he cancel it? Or maybe he lost it again. I don't know. I thought he built one earlier.
Never had one.
Wow, okay.
Gold gets caught here. Pretty low in hit points, so I think there should be a cancel. Yeah. Now, this is kind of a weird game for both players, where I think Coffee's definitely made a couple of mistakes, you know, little overextensions here and there. But Jieshi seems to be making some macro errors.
Yeah, well, I mean, after losing those upgrades, it's become a very awkward game. He's kind of stuck rebuilding Phoenix as his anti-air. So I love that he's at least realized, well, I need anti-air. I don't have blink. It's miles away. I've got to make charge first. So he's going to try and add more gateways, is Jieshi. He's going to use more Phoenix here as defense to try and stabilize. Oh, no.
This Phoenix has went up to the top left of the map, maybe not expecting a Bio to be unloaded there. Does lose those Phoenixes.
He's got to split the ground army. This is what he struggled with in the past. He does not like splitting his Colossi. Like, he's not building Colossi right now. He really needs to be building more. And he's got to split his army. Half at his third, half in his main. Coffee has, you know, 1 speed. It is multi-prong, split my army, drop, attack. And Jieshi cannot be relying on his Phoenix to defend the drops. He's not watching them either. He's way out of position right now. I think he's in huge trouble.
I'm with you. Yeah, Coffee's about to push. The ground assault of Coffee, though, the one that's not inside the Medivacs, is a little bit late, though. And it's just giving Jieshi a bit more time to send his army out of position. Oh, he does have some units positioned near that 4th Nexus. The Robo Bay is going to be picked off again.
Oh, man.
He does get a Colossus out before the Robo Bay gets picked off, at least, so he has that 3rd one on the way.
Oh, okay. Well, at least he doesn't lose the 4th base, Jieshi. But, dude, he's got to stop building tech there. There is a cardinal rule. You just never build important structures in that position on this map. You always build it nestled between your main, your natural, your third base over in that direction because that's such a common drop angle. I think because Jieshi was focusing on Phoenix production, he was like, no, I'll be safe from it. But obviously his Phoenix count keeps getting hammered down, and now it's constantly an exposed angle, and Coffee just keeps taking advantage of it. The observers are never seeing it come in early enough, and because of that, Jieshi has been struggling. Despite that, though, getting bruised, his upgrades getting knocked back to the Stone Age multiple times. Well, guess what? He's up in supply. He's up in army supply. He's got multiple Colossi. He's in an okay position. 4 base versus 3. Coffee only now starting his 4th on location. Blink is starting up. Jieshi is transitioning into a more solid ground composition. I just think he needs to get a move on with either a second Robo and Robo Bay, so add the Disruptors, or the Psystorm. He needs to add that next layer to progress to the next stage because we've got lots of Vikings, lots of Ghosts coming out. Jieshi's composition is a little bit stale.
I was just about to mention that there is movement here in the production tab for the Terran, the tech shift into Ghost and Viking. The deeper and deeper Terran goes into having 6 or so Ghosts, or 4 to 6 Ghosts, 8 to 10 Vikings. All of a sudden, the army of Jieshi is not worthless, but worth a lot less. It's a very awkward sentence.
Yeah, it's literally worth space less.
Yeah, that's right.
It is not one word, not joined together. Which, it's kind of funny when you think about how worthless means literally worth nothing. That's kind of, okay, a little bit opposite, but that is language. Nonetheless, though, that transition is going to start for Jieshi. Only a Robo... Wait. Doesn't he still... Did he lose his Robo Bay a second time?
Yeah. You were talking about how you were actually remarking after he lost it the second time that he shouldn't put his tech there.
Wait, didn't he rebuild it, though?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, this is a bizarre thing that he's rebuilding, but he's not building another Robo. And he's maxed out. 1 Robo. He's just going to have mass Gateway production. I mean, don't get me wrong, Gateway units are good, but he's making mostly Immortal Blinkstalker Zealot right now. It's an army composition. It won't scale well if Coffee can catch up in supply.
Yeah, the concerning thing for me is that Jieshi should be making Disruptors now. Like, you get the several Colossi up. He does have 4 Colossi, a lot of Colossi here.
Well,
but
he's still up 20
no
supply, though. He's still up 20 supply, and the EMPs haven't landed yet. Coffee's being surprised. He's lost so many units before the fight started. That's really bad for Coffee.
Vikings are in the back of the ball here. Does get an EMP off in the Protoss' army. Misses the Archons, though. Starting Nuke again. A second Ghost Academy. Oh, Coffee seems to like late-game Nuke in TVP. He's done it twice now. Coffee usually doesn't get to the late game in TVP. It's usually kind of wins or loses based on the early mid, but I would love to see these nukes come into play. I would also like to see the Invisible Man come into play a bit more. We are seeing Shadow Strides, so that's giving me some hope.
3-1 upgrades on the way for the Protoss. 2-2 about to finish for the Terran. 5th base does start on the top left of the map for Jieshi. Those ghosts starting to really come out 3 at a time. Up to 8 barracks now is Coffee as well, adding more tech labs and reactors onto his production. And we're going to see the first nuke harass come in.
Yep. Nuke number 1 right there. And that's a bit of a soft underbelly of that base, by the way. That's a tough dot to find. He does find it, though. Obviously going to lose the cannon, he's going to lose the pylon, and a shield battery, maybe both shield batteries. Don't move into it. What? Okay. I can't wait for StarCraft 3. I'm a really cheap voice actor, and Blizzard could save so much money by hiring me for StarCraft 3. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's so good. Please show us some more nukes. Show us some more of those fusion core buildings as well. We've got fusion core on the way. Ship weapons. Coffee might go range lib. That is 12 Dark Templar.
And I think he actually drew a Dark Templar with the warp in as well. It's like the shape of a unit coming in from the top side. Man, this is that's spooky. Those things blink on a planetary. That planetary is getting removed from this plane of existence.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the point in the game where once you realize they're going to do this, you want to leave like a Liberator and 2 mines at each planetary, because otherwise it just disappears. But I don't think he's going to have time to notice and respond. Look at this. They're going in. They're going in. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, ghosts arrive. Okay. How the turntables have turned.
He actually had 2 Widow Mines and a turret up there waiting. So he was like, I'm going to spot this coming and have time to pull my SCVs to block it. Well bloody done there by Coffee. Big brain maneuvers.
My Terran heart is so sad whenever I see that.
Oof. 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 Ooh, you're not expecting Stalkers to be there, are you? So definitely unfortunate for Coffee. It's really, really unlucky, actually, that the Stalkers happen to be up there at that moment in time. This Observer's seeing way too much right now. He's got to clear this Observer. This is too much vision for Jieshi. It's going to allow him to really have a heads up on every fight before it happens.
Well, the turret is dead, and this time the DTs don't have to worry about that early warning system. They blink on top of the planetary. They're going to try and take it down. So Bio is here. Mass repair, though. Does he get the planetary? Oh, just doesn't, actually. He is getting some SCVs down at that gold base, though.
Yeah. Coffee, though, I think okay with that. Anytime your planetary survives, just a few SCVs go down, you are okay with it. He's now split off this. This is the Dark Templar Hunters. They are a special force of the police tasked with finding the invisible men who keep on taking down their workers and their planetary fortresses. Advanced ballistics on the way behind this for Coffee, but a lot of stalkers and even a disruptor coming up here to fight this.
All right, we do have the Bio getting forced back there by the gateway units. Some invisible men with the stalkers there. So the alive Dark Templar and the Dark ones, if law is correct. But anyway, the Bio getting pushed back. A lot of ghosts here. A disruptor randomly in the middle of the map. Oh my god. Was that like 3 ghosts? It was at least 2.
I think at least a Marauder in there as well. So definitely not a bad disruptor at all. Very good trade. Jieshi's looking pretty healthy right now. I like the way the Stalkers have been added here. They've scared off the defense, and those DTs could definitely blink in and take out this planetary if they choose. But now Coffee, though, getting in towards ranged Liberators. Hasn't really got many of them out just yet. And oh, Medivacs!
Another couple of Medivacs getting picked off for free there. Or maybe not for free. Stalker going down. It does feel like Jieshi's maintaining max for a lot longer here, and that is indicative in the bank. And he's also finding damage with these DTs as well. Finally going to pick off a base on the north side.
Yeah, that's an important snipe there. Just keeping Coffee pinned on 4 bases. Does need to keep them alive, though. You don't want to throw these Dark Templar away. They're just using Shadow Stride to escape for now, pulling back. And 2 disruptors on the way at the time. 4 libs now coming in for Coffee. So Coffee's just going to kind of go, okay, let's add those libs, add that late game. Oh, these DTs are causing him so many issues.
As they often do. That's the when I remember how I said that the DT voice actor sounds like a man trying to like an old guy trying to balance tightrope.
Yeah. Do you think he thinks like they're like, oh, so you're it's an invisible guy, and he's like, oh, is it Ghost? He's like, it sounds like he's trying to make like a ghost, like a white sheet, with like a squiggly mouth, like a ghost out of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's trying to do what that would sound like.
Yeah, like a rattling chains kind of ghost, kid story ghost. Yeah. I see what you mean. This air army is quite scary. And disruptors, though, also quite terrifying. They get a disrupted over in. Colossi getting pushed back here by that air army. There are a lot of Vikings here. It feels like the Colossus don't even matter.
That one disruptor barely escapes with its life. Storm is now on the way. More and more DTs coming in. Gateway proxied in the top. Who needs War Prisms? Just put gateways up there. Like it from Jieshi. It's a bit easier. It doesn't take supply. Just set up on the map. It's free in that regard, which is important. Supply is a limiting resource at this stage of the game.
Yeah, the DTs are still quite annoying. Obviously, with Shadow Stride, they have that utility about to just blink around the mineral lines as well and just get onto the Terran side of the map without taking the shortest path. Some DTs kind of getting wasted there in the middle of the map and nuked to the north side. Coffee pushing the south side. Planetary getting hit by the DTs as well. Action everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I think there's another nuke that's going to go on the third of Jieshi as well in a moment. Indeed, there is. So we've got, that one gets cleaned up. There's another one being called in on the third base. At the same time, the Liberator Bio push coming through the south. Coffee's 5th on the gold. Keeps getting smashed. So he's going to try and push elsewhere. This cannon will land.
Oh my
big
God.
nuke lands.
Huge EMPs. Disruptors coming in on the ground army. This choke point for the Protoss. This is such an awkward fight for Jieshi and for Coffee. They both lost a lot of army supply there, but it looks like the Protoss still maintaining a bigger army at the moment.
Yeah, he remaxes a bit quicker there, so just quickly rebuilds and jumps on this before the other pieces come back in. Liberators, though, are a problem. Yeah, going a bit too deep, and a few units do die on the retreat there. The Immortal barely getting out of dodge. This is a lot of Liberator Viking. There's no real good answer for it right now for Jieshi, so you got to be careful. Those Liberators could still turn this around.
He is bleeding a lot of resources on his side of the map, though. That planetary going down, the second base to go down if those DTs do get it. The mass repair here is there's no real units to spare, as Coffee's got all of his eggs in the attack at the moment. He's got to make this attack work. He needs to win right here, right now.
Yeah, the 4th of Coffee is going to fall to those Dark Templar, and it does. He ran out of scan there initially, and the planetary stopped actually attacking. Vikings trying to land here. The DTs are going to blink in on it. Oh, does he not have any scans? I think he's out.
No scans.
No.
The DTs coming in and being the MVPs again in yet another PVT peak. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I was talking earlier in the previous games about how I really wanted to see Coffee add 3 or 4 more orbitals, but he was going for so many other things, all the fancy upgrades, all the fancy tech, and he ignored it. And this is something that happens if you don't have those extra orbitals as a backup. You run out of scans. The DTs just tax you, mate, and such an unfortunate way to lose a PVT. He was already up against the wall, but that really was the finishing blow.
Yeah, and Jieshi's being a little wasteful here. He's just 1Aing through the Liberators, but it does not matter. He's made the right plays. He's got the numbers on his side, and the Terran just doesn't have the numbers to fight back anymore. There's too much Protoss. GG! Jieshi fighting back, and he's going to get himself his second grand final for the Chinese Dream.